Hey guys, I'm Jester.
I'm Don.
Welcome to So Awkward.
We just saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the new epic cosmic space opera action extravaganza from Marvel Studios.
Is that whole thing in the title?
No, it's just called Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
How would you describe this
I
movie?
have no idea.
Because if you just say the new Marvel Comics movie, people are going to think it's like the Avengers or Captain America, but it's way different.
It's way different.
Well, Marvel as a universe has this whole other cosmic outer space section with all these cosmic space characters that I never thought I would see a movie about. Like when I was a kid, if you had told me that there would be a live action movie featuring Thanos, Drax the Destroyer, Nebula, Gamora, the Kree Empire, Celestials are in it, I would have crapped my pants. Like I never thought that I would see any of these things in a movie.
I don't know what any of these things are.
I do. But what do you think of it? I loved it.
I will destroy you and your world. First, you gotta go through us!
I can't say that I loved it. But I didn't hate it. A lot of it was really fun. I don't think I was ever bored.
I don't know if I was ever bored. There were times where I was confused.
There were times I was confused.
And I know a lot of these characters, and I know a lot about the cosmic elements of the Marvel Universe. But there was a lot of stuff where I had no idea what was happening. Even though
I agree.
Even though the story was really simple.
Yeah.
Like there's this orb that the bad guy wants, and the good guys have to get it back.
But how many bad guys were there?
There were a lot of bad guys.
I'm gonna say there were too many bad guys.
Yeah, there's the main bad guy, Ronan the Conqueror. But then he had his boss, Thanos. And then there was also Michael Rooker as the other lesser bad guy, like the mercenary character.
His name was Yahoo, right?
I think his name was Yahoo Serious. And he's got a search engine that nobody uses anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, then there was Nebula.
Right. See, there were just too many bad guys for me.
And then there were also the Thandarians? Is that what it was?
Is that what they were called?
It was something like that. Glenn Close's race. Glenn Close and John C. Reilly, who weren't necessarily bad guys.
They should probably be classified as good guys. They were like the police, right?
Yeah, they were like the police, so you think they're going to be bad guys, but then in the end, they're the people that the Guardians have to save. Although I never really understood why Ronan wanted to kill Glenn Close's planet.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That wasn't really explained. He wanted to get revenge because they fought with the Kree, which was... The Kree are from the comics. I don't know about Glenn Close's race. I don't remember hearing about them. In the comics, there's a big battle that's been going on for centuries between the Kree and the Skrulls. But there's no Skrulls in this movie. How old is Glenn Close?
I have no idea.
She's still a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She looks really good. And she doesn't look fake. On Damages, she looked fake. Like she looked like she had plastic surgery, but in this movie, she looked really good.
Oh.
It could be because she was standing next to John C. Reilly for all of her scenes. No, I really liked it. I thought it was really funny. I loved that I finally saw a movie about Thanos, who is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. But I wish there had been more Thanos. He was only in it for one scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Thanos that I've read about for years in the comics. He looked really good, and his voice was great. They didn't give him a hokey British accent, which I thought they would do, because usually in that kind of role, like a big mystical villain, they give him a British accent. I'm not joking.
No, I know.
The other guy had a British accent, the Ronan guy.
Yep.
Every other villain in every movie is British, but I like that Thanos is just, I think it's Josh Brolin. What did you think of the Star? I don't know the actor's name.
Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord. I think
Chris Pratt
Chris Pratt.
from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like him.
What didn't you like about him?
He was just a dick.
But he wasn't 100% a dick. But he did come across a little frat boyish. I mean, I think Chris Pratt is a pretty good actor, and I think he's got really good comic timing. And
I think he played the role well.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was going for. I don't like the character. From the opening scene.
as a little kid.
Oh, I shouldn't say that. As an adult, when he turns the tape on and he's singing and he's like kicking those, whatever they are.
Oh, he was kicking them. And then he picked up one of them and he was like pretending it was a microphone. I think that's what he was doing.
Right.
See, you don't like animal cruelty.
Dude's just an asshole.
I liked him. I thought he was funny. I have never read this new Guardians of the Galaxy series that this movie's based on, so I don't know who Star-Lord is or what he looks like in the comics, but I thought he looked really cool. I liked his leather jacket.
I think he looked neat.
It was really cool. But he was a bit of a dick. I mean, that was his character. Like, he was the Bill Murray character. There was a lot of frat boy humor.
Yeah.
And I never bought the love subplot with him and Gamora.
Not at all.
She's a green freak.
I think you can tell she's a pretty woman underneath.
Zoe Saldana, she's a beautiful woman. But I didn't think the two actors had really any chemistry at all.
They didn't.
Like, that felt really forced. Like the scene where he's telling her about Footloose, which was really funny. Do you know Footloose?
I know Footloose.
That was really funny, and then he has her listen to the music, and then he's gonna kiss her, and that whole thing just, I was like, wait, these two are in love? What do you think of the raccoon?
I guess he was fine.
I respected them for pulling it off. Like, Rocket Raccoon is a big character in the comics, or he was back in the 70s. Like, I don't know if he's around anymore. I certainly haven't seen Rocket Raccoon in a comic in 20 years. But he looked really good.
He looked really good.
And they took it seriously. I mean, he was a comic character, but he wasn't a joke. Like, he was...
Right.
Like, he even had some scenes, like, where he had to act. It worked really well, I thought. And his voice was Bradley Cooper. Did you know that?
I knew it, but it didn't sound like him.
It didn't sound like it. And when I heard that it was Bradley Cooper who was going to do the voice of Rocket Raccoon,
You were probably disappointed.
Yeah, I was like, Bradley Cooper. But he was really good.
Yeah, if I didn't know that before going into the movie, I would have had no idea it was Bradley Cooper.
No, not at all.
I think Groot was my favorite.
I liked him. I thought visually he was really neat. But do you know who did his voice?
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel. And I knew that going in, so it was the opposite of the Bradley Cooper thing where I was super excited. I say this completely seriously. I love Vin Diesel. You know that about me. I've seen all of his movies. I think he's really good. He had one line in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And it was really funny and it worked for the character, how he just said, "I am Groot." Especially how Rocket understood what he was saying. But it's just weird. Why did they get Vin Diesel?
That's what I was wondering.
I guess if you're gonna have a character that talks so sparingly, get somebody with a really distinctive voice.
I guess so.
Is that Star-Lord's mixtape?
Yeah. This could take a while. I enjoyed Drax.
He was my favorite character.
Okay.
Drax the Destroyer, I know him from the comics. This version of him is completely different than the version I knew, but that was 15 years ago in the Adam Warlock comics. But this, he was really good.
I thought he was quite funny.
He was super funny, but he was also scary.
Absolutely.
And he was really sad.
Yeah, I actually felt bad for him.
Totally. That he was played by a professional wrestler.
I was wondering.
Yeah, he was a professional wrestler, but he was also, did you ever see that movie, The Man with the Iron Fists? With the RZA?
Of course not.
He was in that. Not a great film, but he was the best thing about that movie. And he was also in the latest Riddick movie with Vin Diesel. And he was really good in that. I think he's just a really good actor. I mean, he's not like Sir Anthony Hopkins. But I don't think Sir Anthony Hopkins could have played Drax.
No.
No, you know, the best character in the whole movie.
Oh. Yahoo.
Yeah, Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker.
My favorite actor of all time. My good friend who I've met. I'm going to put the picture of him up again. My good friend Michael Rooker. He played a blue space redneck.
Yep.
He was Merle Dixon from The Walking Dead, but in space. And it was awesome.
That's who the movie should be about.
The movie should have been called Yahoo. Not even joking. Every scene he was in, he was funny.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a bad guy, but I was rooting for him the whole time.
Absolutely.
He had that super cool spear that flew around.
It could fly through anything.
Could fly through anything. I think he killed the most people in the whole movie.
Yeah.
The scene, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene where he takes out all these soldiers, and it's hands down the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah. And his little figurines.
And his little figurines, he's a toy collector. Michael Rooker. What did you think of Gamora? We already established that she's a beautiful woman.
Right. She was pretty badass.
She was super badass. I don't remember if she's ever referred to as the most dangerous woman in the galaxy, or is it the most dangerous woman in the universe? That's what she's called in the comic books. I think maybe the raccoon calls her that.
Possibly.
That's her identity in the comics. She's this super badass assassin. And I think they pulled it off really well. She was really good. I really liked her fight against Nebula, her sister, near the end. Although that could have gone on longer.
I think it should have gone on longer. And I was even afraid that we missed it when Drax shot her. Nebula.
Right.
And I thought we missed on a really cool fight.
Yeah.
But we got a little one.
Well, it was one of those endings, and we don't spoil anything, but it was one of those big finales where there's like 1,000 different things going on. Like, you know, there's the space battle, and then there's Drax fighting Ronan, and then there's Nebula and Gamora fighting, and then there's Star-Lord doing whatever Star-Lord does. But it's all like intercut, which was cool and it was exciting, but I think the Nebula Gamora fight should have been given a little more time on its own. So anyway, I thought it was awesome. It's not my favorite of the Marvel movies, just because I don't necessarily have that much of a connection to Peter the Star or some of these other characters. But I think that if Thanos has a bigger presence in the second one, I think that's going to be amazing. Because I want more Thanos. I know you don't know who Thanos is. Hey, hold on.
Yeah, I know he's that toy.
He's that toy. And I also have this mystery mini of Groot. And I have Donald Duck. I have Star-Lord somewhere, but I guess I didn't. Oh, wait. Star-Lord. What did you think of the soundtrack?
I loved the soundtrack.
The soundtrack was amazing. It was just all like 70s funk rock. And then they had Hooked on a Feeling. That's the big one in the trailer. What did you think of the movie?
Oh, we're
No?
done. We're done.